So now that we got some basics about Vue.js out of the way, it's time to practice it. Attached you find this starting project. It's, again, 3 files, some styles, which you don't have to worry about right now, an index.html file with some instructions, to which I'll come back in a second, and an empty app.js file, which is, of course, the place where you should write your code later. Now, in index.html, you see the instructions. On the right side, you see the running application, if you want to call it like this, but of course, a lot of logic is missing there. Your first task is to output your name here. The second task is to output your age here. And of course, you should not just add your name here like this. Instead, you should use Vue.js and maybe some cool syntax you learned about to store your name in the Vue instance and output it with some Vue syntax here. And the same for the age. The same here for the age, +5. And thereafter, it's time to output a random number. Now, we haven't done this before, but you can use a regular JavaScript method for generating a random number between 0 and 1. And I want you to output this random number here in this place. As a little extra challenge, try to output it here in 2 different ways. One time using a method, which you call, and the other time not doing so. If you're not sure what I mean, you can just watch my solution, of course, then. But again, if you have some idea, try it in 2 different ways. Otherwise, at least use one way of outputting a random number here. Task number 5 is that you should output an image here. And I want you to simply go to Google or any similar provider and search for some random free-to-use image URL and output the image here, but of course, again, not by just throwing in some image URL here. Instead, again, you should store that URL in the Vue instance and then make sure you fetch it from there and output it with some Vue syntax. And the same here for this input. I want you to pre-populate the input field by setting the value attribute. And again, of course, by doing that with some Vue features to set it to a value you will store in your Vue instance. Now, that's it. These are your tasks. You will need to create a Vue instance and you will need to use the various syntax features you learned about over the last lectures. After this video, you'll find my solution video, which you absolutely should check out to see how I solved this, but definitely try it on your own first.